All right, where do you want to go from here, IP? We've got a couple
Well,
more videos from this guy.
well, I want to show that he does a short one right after this, and I want to show his dishonest tactic here.
Is this the one that he argues that Yahweh is a hypocrite?
Yep.
All right, here we go.
The problem is this will be confusing descriptions with permissions. The Bible describes things that happened in the past without claiming they were good actions. God often tolerated the sin of the prophets and the patriarchs and proclaimed their actions were morally good.
According to the Angry Bird, Michael Jones, his God proclaimed the prophets were morally good when in fact they were not. Did I hear that right?
God often tolerated the sin of the
I misspoke. I forgot to say not when I was reading that. But this is you can if you see my statement in the full context.
It makes sense in context, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but of course this is the dishonesty with some of these Muslim apologists. They just look for whatever they can. And to give a comparison, in Daniel Hakikachu's post-debate review last night, his co-host said that Daniel sometimes misspoke when he was supposed to say monarchy when he said puberty or vice versa. I don't see this guy making videos on how Daniel clearly is contradicting himself. No, it's
well, he wants to get views. He wants to get views, so he's going to feature you, which is, I mean, we want to get views. That's why we were happy to have you come on, because you're a ratings booster.
Yeah, I put up one of our critics.
Why would he review a video of a guy he said kind of admitted lost in the last video?
Right, and someone said at the beginning, they're like, "Hey, I bet this episode will have like 3 times the normal views."
Of course it will.
Right, that's one of the benefits of this situation.
I mean, look at Michael Jones, charitable, giving handouts to the YouTube bottom feeders like us.
The Angry Bird, Mr. the Angry Bird is
Mr. Angry Bird is so kind to.
Let's keep going.
To those of us lower beneath him.
And the patriarchs and proclaimed their actions were morally good.
Yep, that's what it sounds like. So, according to this specimen, his God was a hypocrite.
Now, hang on, pause there. Specimen is what you call somebody that you're attracted to, by the way. Like, man, that's a fine specimen. So, I mean,
it's funny. He does do a lot of videos on me. People have said I live rent-free in his head, and he's got Jones derangement syndrome. So, I mean...
I just wish there was a better picture without the pixelation here, but... Now, we work with what we got.
My wife is from Arkansas, as am I, and that might be just something like, "Honey, you're a fine specimen, of a man."
No, I think I could. I'm going to take up for this guy. I could say about Pritchett. Pritchett is a fine specimen without indicating any physical attraction to you.
Okay, you and my wife both agree.
I don't know how I feel about that comparison. All right, let's keep going.
Of the prophets as morally good, when he was actually just tolerating their sinful deeds. He was saying things that he did not believe. Let's put this in perspective and look at the sins of the biblical prophets. They range from incest, mass murder, theft, and sex slavery and forced marriage. And yet, each and every one of these atrocious sinners, people who would rightly be called the worst examples in humanity, are actually called righteous or men of God throughout the Bible. The biblical Abraham, who married his half-sister, is righteous. The biblical Lot, who was a drunkard and slept with his daughters, is righteous. The biblical David, who was a raider, mass murderer, and practitioner of sex slavery, evidently did right in the eyes of the Lord. And of course Moses, who ordered the mass murder of women and children and the forced marriage of virgin girls, is a man of God. By the way, according to 1 Timothy, a man of God pursues righteousness and godliness. How does this make sense?
You can pause it there. Okay. Do you see how he basically just debunked himself? According to 1 Timothy, a righteous means pursue godliness. Doesn't mean you're perfect.
Right.
Guys, when people are called righteous in the Bible, put it in context. Can you go back? Just put that verse back on the screen.
Yeah, let's put it back.
Yeah.
This one?
Pursue righteous. A man of God pursues righteousness, godliness, faith, love, steadfast. Okay, again, it's defined as someone who sort of is pursuing these things, but they still mess up. They still make errors. I mean, the Bible, when the Bible calls people righteous, it put it in context with Romans 3:23. All have still sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Jesus is known as perfect, but God. So Righteous does not mean in biblical context that you are perfect and you never sin.
Yeah,
And
and
Bible,
sometimes it's in comparison to other people, like even Israel. Within Israel, you'll have the righteous and the unrighteous. You'll have Israel
itself
being declared righteous in comparison to the nations, even when Israel's, or a good segment of it's in rebellion. Or it can refer to righteous in a particular instance, you're in the right, as opposed to to simplify that, as in these people, because they were called righteous, means there's
perfect,
a positive affirmation of everything they ever did is absurd and doesn't.
This is one of the wonderful things about this faith is that, and I actually believe it's true. I'm not just believing it because I would like it to be true, although I am pleased that it's true, is that when I look at my life, I know what goes on up here, and I know that I'm not as good as everyone else might think I am. And that's true of most people, if not everyone. And it's nice to know that the heroes of the faith in biblical history were people that had flaws, mistakes, ones that, from the perspective of a modern person, were bigger than the ones in my life. But we're all sinners, and Romans 3:23 is true. So, I think that's an important spread we've got there, and so.